June 2nd, 2025, City Council meeting to order at 7 o'clock p.m. I would ask that everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please, Chris.
Ray Solomon.
Here.
Jamie Malloy.
Here.
Scott Dyke.
Here.
Angela DeSario.
Here.
Darrell Jefferson.
Here.
Claudia Gazal.
Here.
Tina Oberlin.
Present.
Mark Sepiti.
Here.
Nate Albert. Here. Joe Kubal.
Here.
Okay. I would ask for council's concurrence that we just hold off on number 1 and 2 under the mayor's report for the agenda. I'd like to take the appointment of our police chief first, so I'd ask for council's concurrence to go down to number 3. It is my request, and I'm asking city council's concurrence to appoint Mr. Edward Clark as our police chief effective immediately until May 7th, 2029. Ed has been our police chief since 2017 for 8 years. I believe he has done a fantastic job for the city of Crest Hill. He has really taken the reins of the police department and moved us in a positive direction. I will tell you that he has grown and matured as a police chief over these past 8 years, and he is definitely a benefit and an asset to the city of Crest Hill. So I would ask for city council's concurrence for the appointment of Edward L. Clark III as chief of police for the city of Crest Hill.
So moved as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderperson Overland, seconded by Alderman Jefferson for the appointment of Mr. Ed Clark as police chief for the city of Crest Hill effective immediately until May 7th, 2029. Questions or comments? Roll call, please, Chris.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Angela DeSario.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Do I have to vote? No, yes.
Oh, man.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
And Joe Kubal.
Yes.
That motion carried.
Let it wait.
Thank you.
Okay. Also, I would ask for the approval of a resolution approving the appointment of Edward L. Clark III as chief of police for the city of Crest Hill and approving an employment agreement by and between the city of Crest Hill, Will County, Illinois, and Edward L. Clark III. Motion would be in order.
So moved.
Before that motion, Mr. Mayor, Dave Strahl and I had a conversation this morning. Apparently, there's one typo in the agreement that it's section 4C, I believe, in compensation. It says that it's effective May 1, 2026. It should be 2025. So the motion should be subject to that change in what's in the packet.
To the motioner?
Yes.
To the second?
Yes.
All right, we have motion by Alderman Albert, seconded by Alderman Dyke for the approval of a resolution approving the appointment of Edward L. Clark III as chief of police for the city of Crest Hill and approving an employment agreement by and between the city of Crest Hill, Will County, Illinois, and Edward L. Clark III. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Angelo DeSario.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 1310.
Okay. Ed, would you like to make any comments?
Sure. First of all, thank you. I've had a wonderful opportunity the last 8 years, wonderful opportunities throughout my whole career here. I'm looking forward to working as hard as I can for the city. And again, I've always had an open door policy with elected officials, citizens, whoever I am serving, and I would like to continue that. I'm just very fortunate, and I thank you for your confidence in me. That's all I have to say.
Any comments from City Council?
Well, I look forward to continuing working with you, especially for the community outreach.
Thank you.
I also look forward to, well, however many years we have left. And good luck.
Thank you.
Ed,
Thank
like
you
I
for
told
your
you,
service, Ed.
oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Oh, thank you. Thank you for your service. To me, you're the chief of chiefs around here, so I appreciate it and continue the good work.
Thank you, Joe.
Like I told you in private, I just appreciate the fact that you're sticking around. Always enjoyed your professionalism and your sense of humor, too. So
Well, thank you.
keep up the good leadership. Thank you.
Thank you.
Looking to continue working with you, Chief. In contact with you. I always send you messages and that. And
Yep.
I appreciate you getting back to me and getting these issues resolved. So thanks again, and looking forward to another 4 years again.
Thank you, sir.
I agree also, Ed. Thank you very much for your service, and thank you for sticking around and continuing your service to the city.
Thank you.
Really happy you're still on the team, Ed.
Thanks, Joe. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. I look forward to continue working with you.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
Ed, I have the highest regards for you. We have had a great relationship for the last 8 years, even more than that, when you were deputy chief, patrolman, sergeant. We go back a long ways. You have shown you are a very highly ethical and moral person, and as a police chief, that is a credit to you for the way that you treat people and the way that you interact with your employees. So I look forward very much for the next 4 years also with you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So I actually was trying to bide a little time here because our new city administrator's wife is on the way with their 3-year-old, and but we're gonna go ahead. I have Blaine's blessing back there. So first of all, let me say that we went through the interview process of several candidates. We had we had 6, right? In the first round, I believe, and then we whittled it down to 4 for the second round. And I will tell you our choice for city administrator going forward for the city of Crest Hill is Mr. Blaine Wing. I will tell you that I was very impressed with both of his interviews. I also will tell you that he is the man who is very energetic, which is something that I think the city of Crest Hill needs. He's very well-spoken. He will be bringing to our city much experience from his past employments. I have high hopes for this gentleman for much success for the city of Crest Hill. We have a lot of positive things in this city going forward, and I believe that he would be the right fit for the city of Crest Hill for the next 4 years. So, with that being said, I would ask for a motion for the appointment of Chester Blaine Wing III as city administrator for the city of Crest Hill.
So moved, that's presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Jefferson, seconded by Alderperson Oberlin for the appointment of Chester Blaine Wing III as city administrator for the city of Crest Hill. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin,
Yes.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
Angela DeSario,
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Next would be
So,
for,
Can I interrupt here? So the next item is the approval of the appointment and the approval of the employment agreement. So we're going to roll this next vote in with the last vote and have just one resolution number. We're not going to separate that because we only have one resolution. So keep that vote, Madam Clerk, but then the next vote will be for the resolution number.
okay. With that being said, the next item on the agenda is approval of a resolution approving the appointment of Chester Blaine Wing III as city administrator for the city of Crest Hill and approving an employment agreement by and between the city of Crest Hill, Will County, Illinois, and Chester Blaine Wing III. Before I ask for a motion, let me first extend my gratitude for the negotiations committee, who was Alderperson Oberlin, Alderman Jefferson, and our city attorney, Mike Stiff, in the contract negotiations with Mr. Wing. So thank you, Tina, thank you, Darrell, thank you, Mike,
Welcome.
for everything that you've done to bring this to fruition. And now I would ask for a motion for the approval of the resolution.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Dyke, seconded by Alderman DeSario, to approve a resolution approving the appointment of the Chester Blaine Wing III as city administrator for the city of Crest Hill and approving an employment agreement by and between the city of Crest Hill, Will County, Illinois, and Chester Blaine Wing III. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Darrell Jefferson,
Yes.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin,
Yes.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
and Wood Serio.
Yes.
And motion approved, resolution 1309.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to introduce Mr. Blaine Wing as the city administrator for the city of Crest Hill. Blaine?
You can leave it this way, it'll work.
Always the awkward spot is trying to kind of not put anybody to my back. My wife is literally just parking, so again, I extend my thank you for trying. We have a 3-year-old, and that's always a challenge, from bathroom breaks, or I have no idea. They were only 10 minutes behind me when I left, but 3-year-old time, so it is what it is. I'm super excited to be here. I'm looking forward to working with the mayor and the council and our residents, as well as our businesses, as there's a lot of opportunity in this community, and I'm super excited to be added to the team. I know there's a few interim positions that we're already looking at, filling permanently, and are, excited to be doing that as well. As the mayor noted, I've worked in 7 communities prior to this, so I do have a nice background. Started off with my master's in public administration, focusing on local government and human resources. So I do have a lot of skills and background, and I'm looking forward really to getting started tomorrow. So 8 a.m. is what I've been told, so I'm looking forward to it. So thank you for this great opportunity, and I truly look forward to working with the full elected team, as well as my team that I'll be jumping into. So
So
thank you.
please stay there,
Here they come.
because here they come.
Uh-oh.
So my wife, her name is Stacy, and the little 3-year-old, my son, is Grayson. It looks like he actually decided to wear a bow tie, so that may have been,
It's a special occasion.
And the 3-year-old drives the bus. So that's
yes,
right there.
yes. So this is my wife, Stacy, and Grayson are the I will also say my wife had just, about 3 months ago, had ankle surgery, so. I
Can she
just,
come up here so we
so-
can take
yeah,
a
babe.
picture?
Come on up real quick. Yeah.
Welcome.
Hi.
Welcome. Hiya, man. Congratulations to you. We hope you're here with us a long, long time. And,
Thank you.
Anything else you'd like to say before I'm going to open it up from city council?
Yeah, no, I think it's good for council, so
Okay,
thank you.
any comments from city council?
Well, I would like to welcome you, Blaine. I have a lot of hopes for you and for our city.
Yes.
The city and staff and everyone, actually, we've been through a lot. And I call you hope because you are our hope. I'm hoping, really hoping that we'll be able to work with you in a transparent way,
Yep.
in the professionalism. I mean, we saw all that in you and through the interview process. You're our savior, hopefully. And honest, I wish you stay with us for a long time. I wish everything will work out in the best interest of everyone. It's time for the city to move forward. It's time to get the bus rolling. So welcome again to Crest Hill, and I'm really happy that you're here.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. I'm glad it's over. Man, your experience and your knowledge that you bring to Crest Hill is a real refreshing attitude to bring to this city, your energy and your knowledge of human resources. All of those things that I looked at in your resume and we interviewed about is I'm looking forward to seeing them, parlay in the Crest Hill administration. Thank you. I look forward to working with you for a very long time. And hey, let's get this thing rolling.
Awesome, thank you.
Want to welcome you to the city. Really looking forward to working with you and hope you look at this as like a home away from home or that it's a good relationship with us, with our fellow employees, and that you can build a great team and really help move the city forward and make it as great as it should be, and welcome your family too to the city.
Thank you.
Welcome. Hope your tenure here is long and prosperous for both parties. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Well, Blaine, you know how excited I am here. I am so excited. And throughout this whole process, what struck me about you is your not only how transparent you were about everything, but how dedicated and experienced and professional you were. And you had energy, and we got to see that. Lucky for us, Darrell and Mike and I, on the phone, we got to experience an extended version of it. And every time I talked to you, I would say, I like him even more. So I'm looking forward to a very long tenure here with you as well, and congratulations to all of you.
Thank you, I truly appreciate it.
Congratulations, Blaine. Welcome to the city of Crest Hill. Real excited to work with you. There's a lot of work to be done, but I have no doubt that you have all the positive energy and knowledge and experience to be successful here. And the residents really deserve that too. And so I welcome you and look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Blaine, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
I think your first task is to make sure that the playground gets built next door. So Grayson has something to do. Grayson, I love your bow tie, buddy.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out tonight.
Thank you.
I welcome the entire Wing family to Crest Hill.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Congratulations to you. Grayson, it will get better.
Yeah.
Don't worry about hiding. Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. All right, thanks, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
All right, I'm actually gonna stick around, but this little guy's got a
Yeah.
8 p.m. Bedtime, so.
Okay.
He's coming here and she'll take him off.
Grayson, good job.
Thank you.
Good job, bud. All right, just a couple things to wrap up the mayor's report. Today was a very important day, not only for the city of Crest Hill, but for Romeoville, Joliet, Shanahan, Shorewood, and Minooka, because today officials from each one of the communities met at Durkin Park on the southwest side of the city of Chicago for the groundbreaking and the start of bringing the 66-inch pipe from the south side of Chicago to the city of Crest Hill. With me today was our city engineer, Ron Wiedemann, and also our finance director, Glenn Gerke, and there were representatives from each of the other communities there. It was a very short ceremony, but it was a day that we should all be proud of because we brought sustainable water, quality water to the city of Crest Hill and the other 5 communities. So that's going to be a big plus, not only for the city of Crest Hill, but everybody else in the Grand Prairie Water Commission. Mayor Johnson was there also, had some very nice remarks from the city of Chicago. And he was not the mayor in 2021 when all of this started. We dealt with Mayor Lightfoot in the beginning during her term. So thanks to the cooperation of the city of Chicago also. I learned today that there are 120 communities, cities, villages, towns, whatever, that are serviced by Lake Michigan water, in addition to the entire Cook County. So that is millions of gallons of water that they produce out of Lake Michigan. And again, This is something that's going to improve the quality of life for our residents as far as real estate values for your homes when you go to sell them, and many other things. The bad news is that we have to wait 5 years to get it, because it's a long way to come just to get to Romeoville, and then it has to go all the way to New Lenox, or to Minooka. So it's about a 60-mile trek that has to be done, and so it's going to be an awesome investment for the city of Crest Hill, the largest investment that the city has ever made by getting Lake Michigan water. But I think at the end of the day, this was the right thing to do for the city of Crest Hill and for the generations to come. The only other thing that I have on my agenda is last Monday, we celebrated Memorial Day. I certainly want to extend my gratitude to everybody that helped prepare for Memorial Day. And I'd also like to extend my deepest gratitude to all of the people that participated and showed up to the ceremony to honor all those veterans and our 2 police officers who unfortunately have passed away. I believe that was one of the largest crowds that we ever had for a ceremony. It was a gorgeous day. I would estimate between 150 and 175 were here for that ceremony. It was a very solemn ceremony. We had the honor to have one of our World War II veterans at the program, and the other one, unfortunately, was represented by his daughter and her husband. So thanks to everybody that came, everybody that participated, everybody that helped, because we should be honoring our veterans every day of the year, not just one day a year, or not just 2 days a year on Memorial Day and on Veterans Day. Because if it wasn't for all those ladies and gentlemen that sacrificed a lot of things from their education to their family lives, to their employments, to go and fight for our country, and who still are doing that, that we can enjoy the freedoms that we have today. This is the greatest country in the world, and we should all be proud that we live in the United States of America. So thank you very much to everyone. Okay, moving on.
Mayor,
Yeah,
I had a question. I was kind of disappointed that none of the council was afforded the opportunity to go to this groundbreaking.
Yeah, and Scott, in fairness, this was all put together by the city of Chicago. Who was invited was the mayors, the city administrators, the finance directors, and the people that are included in the TAC, which meets monthly, just like the mayors meet monthly. So to show you how it works, the mayors were even told what to wear. We were told to wear suits with no ties. And that's how detailed they got about this whole thing. So, again, there'll be future ones that we've talked about when it gets closer to Romeoville. We were talking about that would be a great time to have another type of groundbreaking once we get the 66-inch pipe to Romeoville. So again, this was all under the auspices of the city of Chicago, so
But did they say that no other elected officials are allowed to come?
they told us who should come. Okay, let's move on to the approval of the minutes. You have the approval of the minutes of the city council meeting held on May 5th, 2025. Motion would be in order.
Some move.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderwoman Gazal, seconded by Alderman Jefferson for the approval of the city council meetings held on May 5th, 2025. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Angela Desario.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
And Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
You also have before you the approval of the minutes of the work session held on May 12th, 2025. Motion would be in order.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Alderperson Oberlin, seconded by Alderman Sapiti for the approval of the minutes of the work session held on May 12th, 2025. Questions or comments? Roll call, please, Chris.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
Angelo Desario,
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin,
Yes.
and Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to our city attorney, Mike Stiff. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. There is one item under my point in the agenda for tonight. It is an ordinance that basically affects the finance director codified ordinance that puts it back to its September 2022 status, and that is to make the finance director report to and be evaluated by the city administrator rather than the treasurer. This ordinance 19, make sure I got the number right. The ordinance 1918 was passed after the mayor's veto on September 6th of 2022. That original, or that ordinance is attached to and in the packet along with my memo, basically detailing that I was instructed to prepare this to move it back. So my memo is in the packet and the ordinance is in the packet. Again, the only changes are to the finance director position. There are two changes. One, to make the position reportable to the city administrator, which is what it was before 2022, and to also, there's also a change to the duties of the finance director, the last section of duties, which would be to make those duties assignable by the city administrator rather than by the treasurer. Those are the two changes to the ordinance.
I have a question before we start this whole thing. I have a question for you. Have I ever talked to you or contacted you, email you, or text you about this?
About this ordinance?
Yes.
No.
Okay. Just for the record, because some people were told that I've been in contact with you about this ordinance. And that came from the interim city administrator. Okay? Just for the record.
I'm just curious how this came about. We never had a work session or anything about it. And I know our past treasurer, you know, he had given up the office, and then after he had given it up, he felt it was important that the treasurer continue to oversee that department. That's when we had the vote and work sessions and that, and we brought it back where the treasurer was overseeing that department. Now we have a new treasurer who hasn't even been here 30 days, and already we're changing this. I'm not understanding all of this. I mean, it's confusing to me that, you know, in such a short time, we're gonna change it back. I mean, there was no, heard nothing about it. No one talked to me, contacted me about it. I mean, I don't know what's going on here. I don't understand it. I just can't see this going through without any discussion, without any, you know, whys or whatever. Just, I mean, I don't know who approached you.
Is that a question for me?
Yeah.
The question for me, as outlined in my memo, that I was directed by the interim city administrator and at the request of council members. That's how I got to be drafting this motion, or this ordinance.
I can answer that. So, you know, through the interviews, a lot of the interviewers, they pointed that they have an issue with not having HR and finance under city administrator, because that's how all municipalities have it, and that's how we used to have it. Due to the past, what happened with previous administration and all the secrets and all the issues that we had, and due to the past finance manager that supposedly was going to be fired, this council decided to give this to Mr. Conklin. With that said, I made a public in a meeting that this office, especially the HR, should be under city administrator. I did say that. And also, I just stated that people need to know how to run a finance. You know, this is your city money. This is your treasure. And I had two requests. One, that all council will be contacted. And two, that we're all sit and talk as a group, or for the newly treasurer to understand the procedure and the process while we were waiting when Glenn is gone to do this, because that was been the goal. We saw the way it happened, it wasn't functioning. Staff are confused who to report to. Some reports to HR, some to report to finance, some to report to administrator. And this new city administrator will tell you exactly this is the best for the city. Because how are you gonna manage if you cannot manage? If you don't have the tools, how are you supposed to manage? But again, I always hear preach about transparency, and some of us do preach about transparency, but we don't see transparency. I said, let's talk about this, and everybody should be involved in this conversation. Now, this decision has nothing to do with personal people. It has to do with the city function. What is the best thing for the city? We as an elected official, we don't come here with the title of, you know, I'm graduated as an elected official, or the, I'm sorry, Chris, the clerk is not graduated as a clerk. The treasurer is not graduated as a treasurer. Our past treasurer did have some experience in treasurer. But this is your finance. And unfortunately, this month has gone way south, way too fast, you know? And I'm open for negotiation, I'm open to build a bridge, I'm open to do better, but unfortunately, certain people decided not to contact the council and just go on social media and burn that bridge and trash the city. And this is what you wanna show the city? If this is what here about, is to trash each other publicly? Is that how we're futuring the city? This is how we're advertising the city? That's the sad part. That's the sad part. We complain, all of us here, every time a resident complains on social media, and we say, why don't you contact the council? Why don't you contact the city? Why don't you contact the water department? Why don't you contact the city administrator? But then yet we have officials, instead of reaching out and give the olive branch and try to communicate, which I spoke to that person, I said, let's do a meeting, but they choose to just go and trash our city publicly. So those are my comments. And besides that, you guys decide what you want to do.
My question is, I think part of this discussion is gonna go into executive session matters, or and if not, then the elected officials' duties and regulations are stated in the Illinois Municipal Code. That, so I think that's what we have to go by. That's what everyone should go by. That's what governs this city, because these are part-time elected officials. We hire the department heads to run the departments and report to the city administrator. We took that power away from Jim Marino, which I wasn't a fan of it. But when you look throughout the state of Illinois, department head report to the city administrator, city manager, whatever the title of that person. The elected official has to get together with the department heads for the monthly reports, or weekly reports, or whatever, and if I'm going wrong, Glenn or Jamie, correct me. So, and under that auspices, the elected official is like a oversight person, whereas the director is the overseer of the day-to-day operations of whatever that department is, be it finance, economic development, public works, police department, whatever that department is, that person runs the day-to-day operations of those departments. But I think before we got to this point, that discussion should have been had between the individuals involved to explain how this process works. And I'm not sure that it was. I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm just saying it seemed like that, you know, it was a missed conversation somewhere. And as grown-ups, we need to be able to have those conversations. Not all of them are gonna be pleasant, but as long as the truth is in them, they need to be had. And, you know, I don't do social media, so I can't tell you what's on there. You know, social media, to me, is for people that don't have a life. But I just know that we, as a city, and I spoke with the mayor after the election, and I told him, I'm here to build bridges. I'm not here to dig ditches and separate. This city needs to come together. We may not all have to party together or have dinner together, but we have to work together for the citizens of this community. And if we fail to do that, we're failing in all of our jobs, be it elected official or director of department or staff worker or whatever the case may be. You know, when we come in here to work. When we go out that door, we could go our respective ways and see each other at the next meeting. But today, this is not a good thing for the city. It's not a proud moment, and we have to get through it. I think we have a great city administrator coming in here. We have a great economic development person. We have a great police chief, and we have a great finance director. We sitting in a position we haven't sat in since I have been here. We're better. And if we're gonna continue to get better, we have to learn our role and what our duties are, respectively to everyone. Thank you.
Mayor, sorry, I'm kind of like losing my voice a little bit, getting over a cold. 3 years ago, we sat here, well, not here, but at Old City Hall, and discussed this subject. We discussed the proper way of administration within our city. And I stood my ground and did not want to change that the finance director reported to the part-time treasurer. And I still feel that way. However, that topic we talked about ad nauseum. We had multiple meetings, we had multiple work sessions to discuss this. The part that really disappoints me about this is that if everybody's been thinking about it for the last 2-3 months, why it's just put on an agenda without any discussion. That's the part that's frustrating me this time.
Correct.
And I think it's also unfair to Jamie to be blindsided by the fact that it's on the agenda without any discussion.
I agree.
There's nobody up here who likes to be blindsided. And Mayor, I even went to you and I said to you one day, I will not let you be blindsided. And yet, Friday night, that got sent to me. And by Saturday, oh yeah, I was angry because why would I be blindsided? Nobody could tell me. Why was it good enough for Claudia's fiance to have this?
She's not my fiance in here, so why we have to bring fiance?
Because when it
No,
was
no, hold on a
voted
second.
for, he was
We
your
never asked
fiance.
fiance, it's a city treasurer, so don't bring personal life into this.
Who was also your fiance. Why was it all right for him to have the job, but yet all of a sudden I'm getting blindsided and it will be
He didn't have the
taken
job for
away?
the longest time.
Because he gave it up.
Yes, he did.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, because he gave it up. And then
Hang on,
you
Jamie,
fought.
hang on. We're going to let the council have any discussions that they would like. The voting members of the city council, any comments from them?
I'm new to the city council, but I'm not new to city politics. I see a lot of it in my travels, and I talk to a lot of politicians, and it is the standard it is the standard practice, at least throughout this state, that the finance director reports to the city administrator. The finance director has to have somebody who's full-time to report to discuss issues with, to ask questions of, and that, I'm a firm believer in that.
I personally, in this situation, agree with what has already been said by a couple of my colleagues up here, in that we haven't had any discussion as a group on this. We had discussions as a group when we changed it the last time, but I feel that in fairness and in good government, and so we all are sure that we're making the right decision, can hear everybody's opinion on it as a group in one room, sitting down at the table. So far, all I've heard is bits and pieces from various people of what they said happened that they may have heard from another person, and it's, to me, that's second and third hand information. I don't want to make a judgment or a decision without the person that is being talked about is also in that same room to hear it and to give their side of the story, because there's always two sides of a story. And I like to get all sides before making a decision. It's not saying that I feel strongly one way or the other on this issue, but I feel that it would be valuable to have it as either if it's in an executive session or in a work session, just more time to talk about it. Because just making the change, we all need to be able to work together regardless of who reports to who. Same people are still going to be coming to this building every day. And I don't want to have the situation where by taking a certain action now creates greater divide between people that need to be able to work together, need to share information, need to collaborate, need to fulfill their duties, whether they're elected officials or department heads or anyone. But I think that this is there's a lot going on in this particular situation that I think just warrants a little more discussion. That's how I feel.
I could vote on this situation tonight. I can wait until next Monday and discuss it further. My opinion hasn't changed over the last 2-3 years on it. I understand Jamie's point, and Alderman Nate over here, his point about discussing something like this before the vote is taken. I'm okay with that also. If we wait a week, there's not going to be any major implications here. But I could vote tonight. My opinion isn't going to change, and it's not going to change after next Monday. So that's all I've got to say.
Mayor, one more point that I wanted to make. Whichever way we decide to go tonight, if the ordinance passes, I just want to say that there's no way that we should keep going back and forth on who reports to who. It's unfair to staff, it's unfair to the city administrators, unfair to us. So if we make a decision, I think we should make sure that we're sound with that and confident with that decision.
And that's why before the vote, you need to discuss all that.
Any other comments?
Well, I will say that Mr. Blaine Wing demonstrated all the things we were looking for. I have all the faith in him. Whatever the council chooses, the council chooses.
Okay, council, what's your choice? You have a recommendation before you. You have
I move for a vote of the recommendation.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
I still believe we need to discuss it. Even though the vote's gonna go this way, I still believe we need to talk about it.
All right, we have a motion by Alderman Desario, seconded by Alderman Kubal, to approve an ordinance amending Title II, Administration of Personnel, Chapter 26, Finance Director of the Crest Hill City Code. Any more questions or comments? Roll call, please, Chris.
Mark Sepiti,
I'm going to have to vote no because, like I said, I would like to see more discussion on it. Starting tomorrow, we have a seasoned new city administrator who has a deep background in HR type matters, and I think a lot of this falls in the HR type department, and I would prefer to wait. So I guess I'll vote no for tonight.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
No.
Angelo Desario,
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson,
I abstain.
Claudia Gazal,
Already said how I feel. But yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Motion carries. 5 yeses, 2 noes, and an abstain. Ordinance number 2022.
That's all I have.
Okay, any questions of city attorney?
I have a few questions regarding the actual use of our city attorney. Who has the capability to contact our city attorney and initiate ordinances? Is it a collaboration of council people, or is it directions from city administrator or mayor? Or how exactly does that work?
If you're asking me whether I'm going to tell an individual council member that wants something, no, the answer is I'm going to listen to an individual council member that calls me and asks me to do something. I will consult with the city administrator before I will start moving on it, but I am not going to tell the people I report to, no, I'm not going to talk to them or listen to their requests for an
So
ordinance.
all elected officials or the council people?
Well, I have been consulted by the city clerk in the past, and I have answered her legal questions because I think I'm obligated to answer her legal questions. She's never asked me to do an ordinance.
Just a question about transparency. That's the key word here, is transparency. And I want to make sure that nobody is taking it upon themselves individually to rack up an ordinance or something like that that gets put on an agenda without discussion.
The city administrator, or in this case, the interim city administrator, would always be consulted before I would actually move forward. But again, I'm not going to not take a phone call, is I guess my point.
Thanks, Mike.
But I'm hoping this new city administrator will do all things on the open and transparent way. Correct?
That's his track record.
Okay, any other questions? All right, thanks, Mike. Moving on to Public Works, our interim director of Public Works, Julius Hanson. Julius?
Don't we have the city administrator?
City
Oh,
administrator.
forgot Tony,
Hello,
city
Mayor.
administrator.
Got one more report to give. I'll turn it over to Blaine. Congratulations, Blaine. It's been a long time coming since I've been here, from February 12th, 2024. I really appreciate your efforts that you put in for applying for the position and working with the city council. So we're gonna have a nice little transition. And if you ever need me, you know where to find me. I know where to find you, so we'll work together, no problem at all. Again, thank you, City Council, for hiring, Blaine Wing. You should have a great future. My report, I'm going to delegate, first part, over to economic development, community development, economic development person, Patrick.
It's a mouthful, I know. Well, this theme is going to be ceremonies and numbers, folks. So June 14th, the Silver Cross Urgent Care and new medical facility with a corrected address of 16127 South Weber Road, sorry about that, 16127 South Weber Road. There's going to be a ribbon cutting ceremony. There's something specifically for elected officials at 9. I sent an email about that, but I can follow up. I will happily RSVP for anyone who responds to that email. But there's a public open house from 10 to noon at that said facility, so we look forward to welcoming them to the community. Staff and I and CD are working with Hendrickson on their new solar array groundbreaking ceremony and facility tour for sometime in mid-July. They are currently in for permit right now, hopefully issuing that permit here soon. And they wanted to thank staff and elected officials for working with them because it was a time-sensitive matter for their big grant with the state. Numbers, as going back to that theme, I believe we have 16 city planner applications that have been submitted so far. So with that number, we're still reviewing, and hopefully we'll have an update here for you pretty soon. And then I did wrap up ICSC 2 weeks ago. 44,000 steps, 2 blizzards, and about 20 meetings, give or take, with some impromptu stuff. But I'm still working on the updates, so a lot more stuff coming. And with the new city administrator, I'll work on a work session for all the updates and trends and great knowledge I experienced. So again, thank you for sending me to that very involved but very active conference this year.
Great job there, Patrick. Can't wait to hear that report. Stateville, no updates. I'm in contact with the Capital Development Board. They were sort of waiting for the budget. Got approved last night, about 5 minutes before midnight, where they needed to have a supermajority vote. No changes affecting the Capital Development Board for Stateville was in the budget. So the initial started out with $150 million for the rebuild, doing the due diligence, still in the budget. We'll get an update from our lobbyist, Josh, when he has more of the details on the $900 million that was allocated for the rebuild. The BL Duke finance director did follow up with the company, and the vendor said they received the invoices of damages. The accounts payable was forwarded, so we'll wait to hear either from their accounts payable or the insurance company, or both, or maybe a check could show up in the mail. Don't count too much on that right away. The following job announcements. I did send out a general email looking for some feedback. I did receive 3 responses in regards to our public works position. We received 2 applications. One was not qualified, one was highly qualified. So HR and myself interviewed a virtual interview with the individual. We feel it's warranted to do it in person. He is from the area in Homer Glen. Worked for numerous municipalities in the area too. So from the feedback, it looked like we want to do a full council interview, not just select two members. So we sent out an invite for him to come to the next work session, and we go to executive session. I'll send you out his resume tomorrow, so you'll have more background information on the individual. We did try to, recruit others, making some other phone calls, networking through LinkedIn and other American Public Works Association. Just not getting any applications right now. So, good candidate, current Public Works Director. So we'll schedule the interview for next Monday for the whole City Council. Hopefully, and for Blaine, I'm passing this one off to you, man. You heard about the city planner there. They do have a very good candidate that has good credentials, education. They did keep it open for another 2 weeks to see if we could get a second candidate to be interviewed. If not, we'll invite the candidate in as an out-of-state candidate. So we'll have further discussion and give you more information too. Pass another one off to Blaine and Patrick on that one. Utility operator, we did have the testing on Saturday. They did interviews of the top candidates that tested and passed. So we set up a civil service meeting for Thursday. Dave set that up. And so civil service will have to certify the list. And then once the list is certified, then we have 2 openings. We'd like to be able to hired for those 2 openings. It's a critical time of the year for utility operators. Summer laborers, it's an ongoing process, so if people want to apply, we'll definitely take their applications, because we do sometimes have applicants that'll work 6 weeks out of the year because they got to go back to school, or they're in camps and things like that. So if you know anybody still looking for a summer labor job, part-time, they go online, fill out an application. The water meter changeout. I sent out a correction in regards to clarification on what was stated about the orphan meter detected. There seemed to be a miscommunication in regards to the data being installed in the computer by the finance department. So Julius Hansen and working with the finance department, we've worked out that that information is now being transmitted. So when a meter gets put in, all the information is accurate for everybody to be on board. So there was no direction or anything in regards to the Assistant Public Works person. She's doing a great job, and didn't want to imply that she isn't. So, places for eating tax. This came from the building department, but here is more of a detail of what happened at the hearing. As you can see, one's been paid, another ticket was continued. We had, I guess everything can get put in here. Another fine was given to La Chanita Bakery. They got a $200 fine. Mima's got a ticket, continued to June 18th. My Waffle had 7 tickets issued for that court date. They did give $750 to each ticket issued. Rizza for Investment, formerly the Catfish, now Burger City. The ticket was continued. Summers Columbia Coffee, a ticket continued. I'm going to go with Tinkinias, a ticket continued. And the Tacos Before Vatos, 5 tickets were given fines of $750. The finance director will be following up, contacting the owner. We believe they're not in business anymore, or not operating anymore. I wouldn't say not in business, not operating currently in our town. So, the West Sanitary Sewer Treatment Plant, nothing new to report. They do have those weekly meetings, and I think we're on schedule. I didn't hear anything different from reference.
Yeah, the only change from last month's report was we opened bids on Thursday for this year's street resurfacing. We got 3 favorable bids, so they'll be brought to the next council meeting for recommendation for award, so we can proceed towards contract. That's it.
The State Crime Lab, we did get a request in from their permit for the sanitary sewer. So it looks like they're getting ready to move forward. The permit is being reviewed by Ron Wiedemann, the engineer. We do have one concern talking to the contractors, is we want to give them a little bit of a notice, give them a notice that we would like them to connect to our city services, not to connect to the Stateville services. That is the closest connection, which by law, they could connect to Stateville since there are all a state facility. But we would like to have further discussion with the Capital Development Board to really move forward on a solution for utilities now in reference for water and sewer for the crime lab, and then for the future rebuild of the Stateville. So we'll keep you informed in reference to sending a letter. We're going to be talking to our city attorney how we should word this letter because under the law, we're probably obligated to sign the permit, but I think we got some information that we're going to try to at least get their attention on. Still want to be friendly, still want to be business orientated, but there's definitely a value of building an extension line from our line. Yes, it's extra cost, but that's the right thing to do because we know the infrastructure for Stateville is in dire need of repair. And as part of our agreement with our water allocation is we're supposed to give all best efforts to reduce loss of water. I know it's sanitary, but if the sanitary sewer is also receiving stormwater and other, because of leaks, that's not good for our environment, it's not good for the surface water either. So we're gonna be working on this in a positive way. Being it's a crime lab, we hope that they'd want to have the newer connection. We'll see what happens. The city website, it's an ongoing project proposal. We're planning on a proposal to be presented to the June 9th. I think it'll probably be June 23rd. We'll let Blaine get updated on the website and moving forward on that, but so I would look at the 23rd work session for the proposal to update the website. The three main factors we're looking to update is in 2027, we do have to be ADA compliant with our website certification. It's also part of our, any loan programs, any grants, that's a box we have to check. So that's part of the proposal. We're also looking to how do we update our citizenship in regards to alerts, news type bulletins. They have a couple new programs that they offer in the Civic Plus website. And then how to refresh our website. As you know, it's been brought up about our videos and our photographs are old. It'd be nice to be able to update those, and then we could do it ourselves. So there is a process in the new software to where we'll be able to be trained with that and be able to load, like our new building would be nice to have, you know, throughout the website, along with some video for marketing and things like that. So that process is ongoing, working with staff, and I mean, one of the things we'll move it over to Blaine, and I know it's very important for Patrick. He's working with a photographer in regards to providing some tools for us for marketing our community. So you'll probably be getting a survey shortly of what type of areas you'd like to see us, you know, market on our website. So besides just our parks and our schools, our library, our city hall, our fire station, there's probably other unique things. Ladise Park would be another good one, but I'll let Blaine take that one over and work with Patrick. They do know each other, I found out, so I won't say anything else besides that. So maybe they're just good buds. Anything else?
You have an agenda item for the resolution for the
Oh, I do I?
supply agreement, the energy
Thanks,
with
Mayor.
MC Squared.
Yes, we had a presentation by Adam Hoover, and the last thing we had, there are some acronyms that were within the agreement that weren't the same ones that were in the agreement that was reviewed before. So Mike Stiff still has a couple questions. Put him in contact with MC Square. So he'll be working on if we need to do one, I'll call it more Scribner's errors. But the way we have it written, the resolution, before the mayor will execute the master power supply thing, he'll have to go through final legal review by Attorney Stiff. So I would recommend to approve this.
Any comments, Mike, before?
So yes, when Adam Hoover was here, he represented that the contract was the same contract as before. The only change was that the city's getting the 18,000 rather than the 9,000. I took the contracts and laid them side by side, and there are a host of changes. Again, most of them I think are like highly technical, non-substantive areas, but I wanted to actually talk with the person at MC Squared to walk through the new changes to make sure I understand what they are, and I just have not been able to get together with the representative from MC Squared. So I drafted the resolution approved subject to final legal approval. Obviously, if I think that there's some problem with the contract that we can't resolve between MC Squared and myself, it'll have to come back to you for some type of further action. But because we do have a deadline of June with MC Squared, we said we would put it on for today, subject to legal approval, and I'm hoping that I'll have all the i's dotted and the t's crossed, so to say, by the end of this week.
So you want this tabled?
No, I'd like, well, I think they want it approved, subject to final legal approval, which is what is written in the resolution.
They wanted the signature tomorrow, correct? I thought it was.
Well, I think they want approval. So the
Okay.
approval is effective tonight as of the vote. I
Okay.
don't think that they actually need a signed document tomorrow.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, I do have a question for Tony. It's about Stateville, but it's not about what you reported. So, and that is an update on where we're at with the amount owed to the city.
Yes, the comptroller's office said once the budget has been passed and approved, and then allocations can happen after July 1st. So we should get some type of confirmation letter after July 1st for the payment of the $814,000.
Okay, thank you.
I'll follow up with them, so with Blaine and with the contact, and give them a call this week to verify if they have a date when we receive payment.
Thank you.
Okay, so I would ask for a motion to approve a resolution approving a master power supply agreement for residential electric aggregation by and between the City of Crest Hill and MC Squared Energy Services LLC.
So moved as presented with the
Second.
corrections by the attorney.
We have a motion by Alderperson Oberlin, seconded by Alderman Jefferson, for the approval of a resolution approving a master power supply agreement for residential electric aggregation by and between the City of Crest Hill and MC Squared Energy Services LLC. Questions or comments? Roll call, please, Chris.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
Angelo Desario,
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
For the reasons I stated in the work session, I'm voting no.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Motion carries resolution 1311.
Okay, any other questions of City Administrator?
Now, just to kind of piggyback off of this, so can we make sure that Adam or whoever's responsible, when they send out the letters, that it actually has like the correct letterhead and stuff, so it coming from the City of Crest Hill like it's supposed to? Last couple of years, it's actually been the old letterhead, and it just sends a message that it's, and people question where it comes from and the validity of it. So I'd appreciate that.
And there's been quite a large amount, at least in my neighborhood, of people coming door to door for electric things that aren't ComEd or anything. And I had one, and I think, Chief, I called you about it. Very forceful, and I said to him, no, thank you, I'm not interested. And I almost thought he was gonna let himself in my front door. He was so forceful. And they have to register with the city to do that, do they not? Did you find out if he was, they were registered?
I called, I did not find out if that person was here.
They won't be, MC Squared, it doesn't go door to door.
No, it wasn't
Okay.
them. It was,
It was another,
I've had 3 or 4 of them in the last week and a half. And if I was intimidated by the thought he was gonna jump in, I hate to think what other people, frail people would be scared, so,
yeah, I would call 911.
well, I called the police.
Well, he is 911, isn't he?
I did not hear what the outcome was. We've had a couple.
You turn your mic on, Chief?
We've had, this time of year, we always get this time, so I did put an extra patrol in your neighborhood, especially I've seen them up and down. I've even seen them walking down Gaylord, if I believe, but they had proper licenses for that.
Yeah, this one didn't. The one I called you about that was very forceful. And I
Didn't
just
have one
worry
on.
about my neighbors and, you know,
Yeah, if we stop them, we'll definitely issue a citation.
thank you so much.
Just to piggyback on that, I get a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot, but from time to time, a fair amount of reports, especially it seems like in Fox Meadows subdivision, of door-to-door solicitors, solar companies. And I believe in the past, we used to get notification of solicitors that receive
Correct.
permits to go door to door, but we don't get those anymore. So, because it always comes up, well, do they have a permit to solicit? And we don't know, so we have to pursue finding out. Is there any way we could again, get those in an email or in a report of some kind? Who has permits to solicit door to door?
Door to door will come from the police department, the streets, will come from the clerk's office.
So I was thinking of one thing, and I don't know, Mike, if we can do this, if I could also put it on Facebook as well, the list of solicitors.
Anything that would help residents, be informed
That
of.
way everybody knows as well. Okay,
Yeah, thank you.
very good.
Okay, thanks, Tony.
I had a question for Tony.
Go ahead.
I had contacted Julius about NICOR and then working in town and the restoration of sidewalks and parkways and yards and stuff like that. And he said he had no, they didn't give him any like timeline or anything. And I had a resident who said he contacted NICOR and he said NICOR told him that the city would be taking care of that. And I said, I don't think so, because
No,
NICOR was
that
doing
wouldn't-
the work.
Yeah, no,
I says-
we wouldn't be taking care of that, so if you got an address,
Yeah, his address is 1913. His main concern is there's so much gravel that's in his yard, so when he tries to cut his grass,
Yeah.
he's throwing rocks all over the place, and he's having a hard time cutting his grass. I don't know what we can do to help him, or what we can do to get NICOR out there, or what.
1913 Wood Street.
Oakland.
Okay. Yeah, I will put the,
Please be aware that his relocation is due to our project. So the contractor is probably correct, or NICOR is probably correct, in that we will be restoring it when we reconstruct the roadway and do the water main.
for that area?
Yeah,
Okay.
the project's from
Yeah.
Pasadena to Ludwig, so that.
Is
That
there
is
any
ours.
way
If they're
we can-
north of there, which 19, which that would be, they would then have to do the restoration, so I can reach out.
Okay.
I can reach out.
Thanks,
Okay,
Rob.
yeah, because, he's having a hard time cutting his grass, and he's ruining blades and all that kind of thing.
Anybody else?
I do. Tony, I replied to your email about the public, I can't even think about it. Public Works Director. I'm looking at the email right now. And I replied that all councils should interview. That's what we've done in the past, and I have not heard from you.
About,
The email that you sent about Public Works Director interview?
that's what I talked about during my report. Next Monday night, we'll put on the work session for the interview. We'll be with all of you.
That's
Here.
all of us?
Yeah. There was three of you that contacted me saying you'd wish to have all of you. So we already scheduled it for Monday night at the work session.
So it will be an executive session?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll have questions prepared. I was talking to Dave about it today, so
Thanks.
sorry if I wasn't clear on that.
No, it's okay.
Any other questions? All right, thanks,
I
Tony.
don't have a question, but
Okay.
I'd just like to say thank you for your time, Tony. We had some difficult moments, but we're big boys.
Why, is it leaving already?
You got 2 weeks left.
You've got 2 weeks left, but I want to make sure that he
Okay.
leaves the seat cold for Blaine tomorrow.
I do appreciate it.
All right, moving on to Public Works. Our interim Director of Public Works, Julius Hanson. Julius?
Yes, thank you. Public Works is seeking approval to purchase a 2025 Frontier Wing Mower from AHW in the amount of $22,065.74. The board memo's in the packet, and the quote is there also.
So move.
I have a question. Did we discuss this at all in a work session or anything? I don't recall.
Just during the budget process, I believe there was some discussion about purchasing equipment, but we did not bring this to a work session. Wanted to get it approved as quickly as possible. It's in the budget, and we'd like to start using the mower as quickly as possible.
So it's in the budget, it's a general equipment need, but not specific.
No, I believe it's specifically in the budget.
Yeah, this was one of the pieces of equipment that we talked about for more efficient use of our manpower with the big wings, like our project out here. They could probably do that in 50% less time, and also the wing can be used for the ditches. So it wasn't directly at a work session to answer your question, Alderman Sapiti, but due to the fact it's in stock and it was under what they call cooperative bidding, I advised Julius, let's bring it directly to you guys, so we can possibly get this mower. We think we can get it in 10 days?
No, unfortunately, everything takes a little bit longer than that. It's probably gonna be 4 weeks, but obviously we're saving a week if we do it now versus later.
Is that the first time we'll be purchasing something like that?
Yes, we do not have this piece of equipment currently.
Yeah, I was surprised we didn't have a wing mower. with
So
all
this is
our
this is an
small
attachment
ditches.
that goes onto a tractor?
That is correct. It's for doing large surface area, like around this building, that sort of thing.
And who will be operating this?
That would be the grounds maintenance crew. Tony Glasgow and his crew.
So we have the necessary equipment that is needed to operate this piece.
Yes, this would be towed behind a piece of equipment that we already currently have.
Does it have any warranties?
I think all new equipment has a limited warranty. AHW is a big John Deere equipment distributor, and I believe they stand behind their equipment quite well.
Well, let's find out what the warranty is on it, please.
Sure.
Email them. It's a good question.
All right, I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Albert, seconded by Alderman Jefferson, for the approval of purchase of a 2025 Frontier wing mower from AHW LLC in the amount of $22,065.74. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Angelo Desario.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
The next item is approval for pay request number 29 for Vissering Construction, with direction to send it to the EPA for approval and disbursement for a total amount of $663,631.12. This is for the construction of the West Plant that's ongoing.
So moved as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderperson Oberlin, seconded by Alderman Desario. Approval of a pay request number 29 from Vissering Constructions Incorporated with directions to send it to IEPA for approval and disbursement for a total amount of $663,631.12. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Angelo Desario.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, any questions of Public Works?
Yeah, I had contacted you earlier about the overtime for those water test kits, and just wondering, what you came up with, or was there any way we could have saved on overtime, for the delivery of those kits instead of them being delivered on Sunday?
Well, we were just under the gun to get work done on Saturday and Sunday because it had to be done based on a deadline. It's the lead and copper deadline. It happens twice a year, once at the beginning and once at the midpoint of the year. So we had to do that work on Saturday and Sunday. That's why we work Saturday and Sunday.
When I asked you about months ago about that list, and it's on record, you told me that it's been done.
It has been done
So why we're doing it again?
because the EPA requires us to do it twice a year, like I just said.
I thought you said it was just done not long ago,
It was done at the beginning of
when
the year.
you,
Now it's
when
the-
you answered me.
It was done at the beginning of the year, and it's gonna be done in the middle of the year, which is right now. It's June.
Well,
The
the email that
16th
was
of the
sent, it was in August from Mike Hewlett. And I gave him 52 addresses, and none of those addresses been used. So that's question one. Why waste the council time asking to help with addresses, which I did 52, I count them today, and that was in August. Number two is, who chooses what residents they get tested? And none of the addresses that were given were been used. And then I come to find out that we give rebate of $50 for the people that want to test. The council never approved that. I was never aware. Is any one of you aware of this? We give $50 discount or on their water bill. That's taxpayer money. And who makes this decision? Who's gonna be tested and who's not? And who's gonna get the $50? And in the past, we had public work guys from the water department going and delivering these containers or bottles, whatever you want to call them, for testing. And now we're paying overtime on the weekend for an admin assistant to go and do that. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't.
Are you done? Do you want me to answer all those questions?
I'm hoping.
Okay, it sounded like question one was something about August from a previous director. So
Yes.
I certainly don't know the answer to that question. That would-
Well, Ada was CC on all these. She was handling this list.
I mean, I can't answer a question based on something that happened in August of 2024 before my arrival here.
But you answered it to me a couple weeks ago when I asked you. You said it's been done.
So we have to do 2 tests for copper and lead according to the IEPA. One in the beginning of the year, one in the middle of the year. So we did the one at the beginning of the year. We just made that deadline. Because that list was not assembled correctly, I had to scramble to do that when I first got here. We were lucky that I got that done. So we didn't get a violation from the IEPA. So me and the Public Works Department scrambled to get that list done because it wasn't done in 2024. In fact, it wasn't done prior to 2024 when it should have been done, all before me. So I kind of helped get that accomplished. So it would be nice to get some recognition for that initiative and that achievement that I did with the Public Works Department.
Well, I don't know. That's the first time I'm hearing, so I'm not sure how you ask me for
I'm-
recognition. I'm
telling
asking
you
a
right
question,
now.
you'd have to be offended. I mean, it's not here about recognizing or not recognizing. I'm asking some questions, and now you're taking it personal. I mean, isn't that what we're hiring you to do? Is it the work? I mean, I'm confused here.
I'm not going to sit here and debate this. I mean, I don't even know what you're asking me, so just.
Well, I feel like you're going in
What is the
circle.
question you want me to answer, please?
Well, you answered the first question, which was answered. The
Good.
second question is who chooses what addresses?
The addresses need to be done by citizens that are volunteering to do this work on their own accord.
And
So
how do
the
I
list
volunteer?
is assembled by residents that want to cooperate with the city to be good citizens, and they have to do the sample themselves, and they have to alert Public Works when the sample's ready so we can pick it up and take it to the lab. It's a requirement from the IEPA. So that's how it's done. How the exact original list was assembled, I'm not so sure. But we were struggling, like I said, to get the 60 that are required. So we had to offer an incentive of $50, which I talked to the city manager about and was approved. It wasn't my bright idea to do it. It was a consensus of what needed to be done in order to make the list, to meet the requirements and the deadline for IPA. Does that answer your question?
Not really, because I'm asking who decide on this list, and nobody, you're not
Tony,
answering.
can you answer that? You were here, I wasn't.
Well, I don't know how the list is actually created. I leave that up to the,
So we don't know how the list is created, okay.
no.
Okay,
The
so
60
that
homes,
answers my
they're-
question.
They're listed because they're volunteers that were either contacted through our letters, through
Apparently phone calls.
knocking on doors, councilmen, there's all types. But the $50, we brought that up at a work session, that we were having challenges, as you well know, you guys heard about it, of getting citizens to allow us to get water tested for the lead and copper services. So we offered to encourage people to call voluntarily to do this. We offered them a $50 rebate on their water bill, because they are collecting the water for us, and they're working with us on this project. We were in an area where the IEPA warned us a couple times about we need to get this done by these dates. So it wasn't done in '24, and Julius is correct there. We followed up. Nobody said it got happened. It was happening before. It isn't just like all of a sudden it got dropped between 1 to 6 months. It didn't get done. It wasn't like it was being done in 23, 22, 21. And it could have been, and I'll be the first to say, it could have been an interim manager in between. And when you look at the August date, September, late September is when, Euless was down to its last 20 hours. So, so basically, we could try to find out a little bit more on the 60 homes. But basically, once the volunteers and once we got them signed up, we signed them up right away, and we had to get this done by the end of May. So.
Well, the 52 addresses that I got, they don't need their $50. They could have done it easily, because I don't know what was the point for us to waste our time, contact each resident, and I have here a list of all the addresses that I've given, And if I knew there was water included, I would not include myself in that test, but I wasn't aware of the $50.
Well,
So let's say
$50
a 51 resident, we've never contacted them. They asked me, what was the purpose of asking me if I want to participate?
Claudia, I don't have an answer. I could find out from,
The thing is, we're never going to get the right answers when we ask for them.
well, I really do take that
Because,
personal.
no, it's not, because we
It-
go,
it is.
we go,
We-
I
you
ask,
just accused
who
me of not
decide
giving you
on,
the answers.
I ask, who
Come
ask,
on,
who
Claudia.
decides on the addresses,
I've
and
given
we
you
went
answers
around.
in the past, straight up. We'll get you an answer. That's from Tony, nobody else.
All right, thanks, Julius. Moving on.
You're welcome.
Julius, could you look into the landscaping on Broadway by the viaduct?
Yeah, that'll be done this week.
Oh, okay, just curious, thank you,
Yep.
appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, moving on to city engineer, engineer Ron Wiedemann. Good evening, Ron.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have one item on the agenda tonight, looking for approval of an ordinance authorizing the issuance of water work and sewer revenue bonds. The city of Chicago, or the city of Crest Hill, Will County, Illinois, in an aggregate principal amount of not to exceed $32 million.
So moved as presented.
Second.
Motion by Alderperson Oberlin, seconded by Alderwoman Gazal, to approve an ordinance authorizing the issuance of waterworks and storage revenue bonds in the city of Crest Hill, Will County, Illinois, in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $32 million. Questions or comments?
Mayor, just for the record, that I'm going to be abstaining from this vote. It creates a conflict of interest with my employment with Edward Jones, because I'm able to offer these, ultimately may be able to offer these bonds to my clients, so I will abstain from this vote.
Okay. Roll call, please, Chris.
Angelo Desario,
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson,
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin,
Yes.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes?
Nate Albert,
Abstain.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
and Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Motion carries ordinance 2023.
And Nate, just like I said to Claudia when she abstained, I appreciate your honesty and transparency in doing that, so thank you.
Thank you, Tina.
I have one more question to Public Works. When is the next mosquito spray? The resident started to ask, do we have a schedule yet?
I have no idea.
I'm sorry?
I have no idea.
Anything else, Ron?
Is that something you could look into? Or,
Sure. I'll look.
I mean,
It's the first I've heard of it.
okay.
Anything else, Ron?
The only other one I bring up under on the city administrator's report is last week we did get the agreement from DCEO for the $400,000 for the new Tate Farm transmission main. So that was the last grant for that project we were waiting on, so we will be bidding that out in the next month or so, so we need construction done this year. That's all I have.
Okay, any questions of city engineer?
Yeah, Ron, after the last meeting, you had come to me and mentioned that you'd be willing to work on that Buffalo box situation we're having with a lot of the residents. I know Julius had called me up last week saying we had another one over there on Rose Street. So we have a bunch of them. You said you're aware of them. If you could come and bring something to us at a work session so council kind of has an idea of what we're looking at, what we might need to do, options, costs, all that type of thing, would appreciate for a work session then.
Yeah, I can do that. I don't know if I can make the next work session.
That's fine.
But I did get the count from the billing department of how many we have. There's a significant amount. Some are doubles, some are just apartment complexes where we have one little service line going in. There's meters in the inside of the apartments, but there's only one way to shut off. So those will need a special type of meter. So I'll put some stuff together. I'll work with Blaine and we'll get it on a workshop to at least have a discussion of how we want to address this moving forward. So once we have a new public works director, he'll have some direction of how to get these replaced out.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, Ron. Moving on to community development, our economic and community development director, Patrick Ainsworth. Pat,
No items on the agenda, but happy to answer any questions.
any questions of community development?
Yeah, just curious, the gas station on Broadway and Cape Farm, any idea, that's been there a long time, they've been working on it, and I'm just wondering if they contacted us saying any kind of opening date or anything?
Yes, they've been in active communication with Ron Betzer, our Community and Economic Development Consultant, sorry, it's a mouthful, and they've come in for a full-fledged meeting. There was an issue with the access to the truck route. They are working with the neighbor to the west to see if they can actually acquire more property and expand that driveway. They would have to come back to a plan commission and city council. And yes, they've had to extend their building permit just because of the issues they've come across. But I can provide an update in the next city manager's report on that one as well.
Thank you.
If you'd like, I can give a quick update too. Ron and I have been working together on that. We did send a letter out to the owners of what they needed to do to get temporary occupancy for the phase one, as Patrick talked about. They've accomplished some of it. We still have a few more comments that they need to address. Once they address those comments, we'll then work with them for a temporary occupancy to get the gas station part of it open. And as Patrick said, the phase two, that's still being looked at and redesigned. That will have to come back to the planning and to council because they are extending the limits to the west of the original approved PUD. So that's kind of where we are on that. Timing wise, probably not till late summer that you would see it.
Thank you.
Patrick, I had a question for you regarding the St. Anne's property. I see there's a sign there for a public hearing regarding the potential use of that. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, so a week from Thursday, June 12th, they're one of 3 plan commission cases. So a church organization out of Romeoville is looking to reactivate that space. They're not proposing any exterior changes. The group has about 70 members in their congregation, and per our zoning ordinance, they have to go for a retroactive special use and variation. So again, they're not changing anything. They're just going to hopefully turn the key. There's a couple things that we're going to ask them to do, such as the trash enclosure. For that June 12th Plan Commission meeting, that should take us to the second workshop in June, and then the first, hypothetically, a vote in the first meeting in July for City Council.
So the proposed use is another church?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question for you. Are you going to give us soon an update on your visit to Vegas with the business?
Yes, as mentioned in my report, I'm going to be working with Blaine, our new city administrator, on when to do that, whether it's going to be a report or a workshop session. So something coming up in the near future.
Okay. And also, I'm not sure if you're aware, the Black Sheep, the Polish place on Division, they just had their soft opening. They don't want to advertise it big right now, but they just started. I think they're only opening from 12 to 5.
Thank you. It's a team sport, so appreciate it.
Yes, just so we can give them a little, push. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Pat. Moving on to Police Department, our Police Chief, Ed Clark.
Evening, Mayor and Council. I have one item on the agenda this evening. It's a special events police services agreement with Double J's. Is a sports bar in Joliet. They're having a 5K in honor of their 25-year anniversary, and they're looking for us. It's going to come through town off of Gaylord and Theodore Street along the paths, and they're looking for us to help out with traffic control. So 2 officers and 2 vehicles. The only difference with the contract to note is I would like to change the hours from 8 to 10:30. I already spoke to Mr. Reed, the owner, and he agrees. I would like the officers to start at 7:30. I think it'd give them a little more time to get prepared for those participants coming down the path. So it'd be 7:30 to 9:30, the 2 hours, and 1 officer, or 2 officers and 2 vehicles per the contract. The insurance is included, and I would be looking for formal approval.
So move as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Kubal,
No.
Nate Albert, and seconded by Alderman Sapiti for the approval of the special events police service contract with Double J Sports Bar Incorporated. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Angela Desario.
Yes.
And Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. The only other item I have is this Friday, we're having our second blood drive from 9 to 2. So we're still looking for people to sign up and donate. It's through the American Red Cross, and you can find it on their website. Here, it'll be right here. So anybody's willing to donate, we would appreciate it.
I was on WJ Well Friday, and I gave you a plug.
Good, thank you, thank you.
Any
Other
questions?
than that, I'll answer any questions.
Any questions of Police Chief?
Yeah, Chief, I got contacted by the owner of the home over there on Nicholson and Ludwig, and it just got recently hit again. Got hit by a motorcycle, and then I guess the guy took off. And prior to that, there was where a SUV flipped in his front yard, and he's just wondering if there's anything that can be done at that intersection to help, I don't know, with maybe getting these accidents where they're not happening, or some way to slow people down or something. But
Okay.
he's, concerned with the accidents there at his intersection and vehicles ending up in his yard or up against his house. So if you could look into that, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I can appreciate a car hitting a house. I don't appreciate that at all. So, but yes, thank you. I will
All right, thank
definitely
you.
look at that.
All right, thanks.
All right, thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
Moving on to our city clerk's report, our city clerk, Christine Verche Hall.
Thank you. I have nothing to report tonight, but just want to congratulate the chief on 4 more years with us. And Blaine, welcome to the city of Crest Hill. And that's all I had to report.
Questions of the clerk?
Chris, would you happen to have a number of the businesses that are operating without a license?
Not right
I know there was several a couple months ago of,
Yeah, I'll get an update for you and email everybody tomorrow.
okay, so when that situation arises, refresh my memory, who gets notified? Code enforcement?
Code enforcement gets notified, yes,
Okay, and they pursue it with citations?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thanks, Chris. Moving on to our city treasurer's report, our treasurer, Jamie Malloy. Good evening, Jamie.
Good evening. I have the approval of a list of bills issued through May 3rd, 2025 in the amount of $1,526,512.99.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Sapiti, seconded by Alderman Albert for the approval of the list of bills. Questions or comments?
Well, just one comment, at least on mine, it's got the wrong name at the bottom.
What are we looking at?
It's the cover sheet for the council meeting.
Oh,
It has the wrong name, it needs to be updated.
That's not in the packet, though, Tina.
Huh?
It's not in the packet.
It was in mine.
No, it was in your email. It's not in the packet that's posted.
Well, the one I got was,
I mean, it's not.
well, it needs to be changed regardless. It's wrong, so it needs to be fixed.
Roll call, Chris?
Tina Oberlin,
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Angela Desario.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Next, I have regular and overtime payroll from May 5th, 2025 to May 18th, 2025 in the amount of $294,070.73.
You need a motion for that?
That's not voted on.
No.
That's information.
That's just information.
And additional payroll payout.
Okay. And the last is additional payroll grievance payout in the amount of $11,442. If there's any other questions for the treasurer's office?
Any questions of treasurer? All right, thanks, Jamie. Moving on to unfinished business, we have nothing. Anyone? New business? Committee liaison reports, anybody?
Well, I'd just like to say that this Sunday at 11 o'clock a.m. is the annual Ladise Memorial Ceremony at Ladise Park. Everyone is welcome. It's a wonderful ceremony to attend if you can. And if it has inclement weather, we will move it here to City Hall, which we hope does not happen. But anyhow, it's 11 o'clock Sunday, June 8th at Ladise Memorial Park.
Anybody? Okay, city council comments, positive city council comments, anything you'd like to share with your constituents? We'll begin with Alderman Kubal tonight.
Just congratulations again to Blaine and Ed. That's all I've got.
Alderman Albert?
Yep, same thing. Welcome aboard, Blaine.
Alderman Sapiti?
Welcome, Blaine. Again, look forward to working with you. And I also want to extend the congratulations to all the graduates that recently made it through whatever level of academic schooling that they're in. Just want to congratulate you on all your hard work and wish you good luck on whatever the next chapter in your life is. That's all.
Alderperson Oberlin?
Well, I would also like to, once again, welcome and congratulate Blaine. And then I got some information today at a meeting on the tax amount for your taxes. I believe it's been raised from 65 to 70 now for the freeze, according to Manley. So I'll get more details when I have the official thing, but it was good news.
Oh, the income limit?
Yeah, the income limit, yeah. Did you get a thing about it?
No, but I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, so people, what happened was they got a spike in their social security and it put them out of the qualifying. And they were very frustrated, so they bumped it up to 70 now, I was told. I don't know all the details, but I'll bring them when I have them.
Alderwoman Gazal?
Again, congratulations to Ed the third and Blaine the third. They both are the third, I just noticed that.
Ed, I didn't mean to leave you out, I'm so sorry.
Alderman Jefferson?
Hey, again, congratulations to Ed and Blaine. And I hope the individuals that sent me those emails about tonight's meeting took my suggestion and watched us, and they got to get the knowledge that they were seeking, that we were not eliminating the treasurer's office as they were thinking. So I hope that they did watch and get that information.
Alderman Desario?
Blaine, welcome to the city. And Ed, Chief, congratulations again. It's good to work with you again.
Alderman Dyke?
I just want to welcome and thank both of you thirds. All we need is one more third for a whole and we'll be great. So we got to find another third somewhere. So, congratulations,
MC
guys.
squared.
Okay, public comment. Anyone like to address city council, please step to the podium, state your name for the record. Your address is optional.
Good evening, Stuart Sullivan, 21526 Greenway. I just wanted to make a suggestion. You passed the electric
Aggregation.
And the cities, they're going to send a letter out to the residents. I also want to just be aware that ComEd raised their rates yesterday. The correlation of the two, it may look like this, you may want to make a statement about that officially, that you didn't raise the rates. Just,
Yeah, good point.
you know how everybody in this city is already dealing with the water, how it goes up? They're going to immediately throw it on the city as being a city fault.
Those letters, that was not to the entire city though, right, Tony? It was just to certain sections for the electric aggregation.
Yeah, it's just for the current aggregate customers.
I'm just saying,
Right,
you know
I
how
get it.
city, you know how residents are going to react.
Be proactive.
Be
is what you're
proactive,
saying.
thank you.
There you go.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? All right, to our city attorney, Mike, there is a need for an executive session?
Yes, there is. There are two exemptions, 5 ILCS 122C11, which is litigation, and 5 ILCS 122C1, appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body.
So moved as presented.
Second. We have a motion by Alderperson Oberlin, seconded by Alderman Sapiti for an executive session for 20C11 and 2C1. Questions or comments? Roll call, please, Chris.
Can I have a question?
Yeah.
Should we include Blaine since he's going to be dealing with this?
Mike Stiff, I don't believe that, right?
Okay. I think I'm not,
On personnel, definitely.
yeah, personnel, yeah. I would request you include Blaine, Dave Straw, myself,
And Glenn.
and the attorney.
And Glenn.
And Glenn, yes.
Okay, roll call.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
Angelo Desario,
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin,
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
All right, we'll be going into executive session at 8:45 PM. Mike, is there going to be any